Welcome in. I'm joined now by the voice of the South Bend Cubs, the High A affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, Max Thoma. And there's a playoff race coming, Max, and we had to bring you on to recap it a little bit. South Bend Cubs are playoff bound for the first time since 2019. On September 4th, you guys clinched the second half title, which allows you to play a best-of-3 series with the Cedar Rapids Colonels. The game one of that starts tonight, 7:05 Eastern time. So go back in time a little bit, maybe project a little. How did South Bend get here, Max?
You know, we started off the year with an opening roster that was just chock full of youth. We had, plenty of teenagers, a whole lot of 19, 20-year-olds, and, guys that maybe struggled a little bit out of the gate offensively, but have really grown into their own in the second half. And then when it comes to the pitching staff, it's been a staff that has just reloaded as we've seen some key arms promoted. Guys like Jordan Wicks, guys like DJ Hers have been replaced by guys who have really filled their shoes nicely. Guys like Porter Hodge, Luis Devers. I mean, the pitching staff's been tremendous. And this team really now is peaking down the stretch the last month, the last 2 months. And they're just playing great fundamental baseball really on both sides.
I love it. Yeah, you dangled some names there. It's crazy to think that you guys are at this spot, having promoted guys like DJ Hers and Jordan Wicks, but Cole Franklin has stepped up. Porter Hodge, as you mentioned, a high schooler out of Utah. Devers pitches tonight. He's been unbelievable, probably one of the best pitchers in arguably all of the minor leagues. So how important has that staff been in getting them to this point?
The staff has just been absolutely incredible. We've been using a six-man rotation, through the end of the season. A guy like Luke Little is now going to move to the bullpen for the playoffs. I mean, what a treat that is to have him coming out of the bullpen. We'll see what his arm looks like, the 6'8" southpaw. But, I mean, Devers is well on his way to being the Cubs minor league pitcher of the year. His ERA is above 1 now. For the first time it's been with us since he was promoted in July. He has pitched 11 times with us, hasn't allowed more than 1 run once. He has been as dependable as you can be. And the guy behind him in the rotation will pitch game 2. And Porter Hodge has been simply incredible as well. I mean, they're going game 1, game 2. And then you got Palencia going game 3 with maybe Luke Little behind him. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat us even in a 3-game series.
It's kind of incredible that we've talked 2 to 3 minutes and have not mentioned possibly the star of the team, arguably the star of the team, the star of the team, Pete Crow Armstrong. He's batting third tonight, which is a little different than the leadoff spot we've seen him in for the entirety of the year. But I was reading an article recently, and it talked about how he stepped in the box. You guys just played Cedar Rapids Colonels for, I believe, 5 games, correct? And you're heading into this series. He stepped in the box in game 1 of that, and the catcher from Cedar Rapids asked him if Pete was ready for 9. And in his head, he was thinking he's ready for 8, implying that they're going to take the first 2 of this and not even have to play that 3rd game. He's been a spark plug for this team. Just how incredible of a player he is, and do you like him batting 3 in this lineup tonight?
One, spark plug was the word I was going to use, so you took that right out of my mouth. He's the star, he's the straw, rather, that stirs the drink of this offense. He's the spark plug in the leadoff spot. He's a guy who, Lance, I've talked with you about before. You knew you were going to be getting a high batting average guy, a high on-base percentage guy, but he's batting third because he's slugging the ball all over the place. I mean, his power numbers in the second half of the season, he's second in the Midwest League in slugging. I mean, he's first and second and top 5 in all those categories you see right there. And the guy who, by the way, is first in the Midwest League in slugging in the second half is a guy in this lineup in Jordan Wogu. So I'm excited to see PCA get a lot of RBI chances in this series in the 3-hole.
Yeah, that slug's kind of come out of nowhere. I always thought he was kind of a bat-to-ball OBP guy, and then next thing you know, now we're projecting him potentially for 20-plus homers, and he's displaying all that power, and he'll be displaying it tonight in the Midwest League. Game 1 of the championship series, Max. But, maybe go a little deeper. We mentioned some names maybe people don't know, like a Porter Hodge, but is there an X factor in this series for you?
There's a couple of guys that I really wanted to highlight. When you talk about X factor, I mean, you look at this lineup, you look at this pitching staff, you can have any number of guys that are the hero on any given night. But B.J. Murray is certainly a guy that I want to highlight in the 2 spot. He's been in the 2 spot for about a week now. When you look at Cubs minor league players, all of them that are qualified in full season affiliates, he's the only guy with an on-base percentage above 400. He leads the Cubs farm system. He's going to be the table setter in that 2 spot, a guy who maybe has a better control of the strike zone than anybody in the Midwest League. If he can get on base for the likes of Pete Crow Armstrong, Jordan Wogu, Owen Casey, I think we're going to be in great shape offensively this series.
As I mentioned, game 1 tonight against the Cedar Rapids Colonels, that's in South Bend. And Thursday and Friday, game 2, game 3. Game 2 of that series will be on our Road to Wrigley Whip Around show with myself, Elise Menaker, and Jim Callis. We might even jump in live to Max Thoma's beautiful voice there. Max, we really appreciate you taking the time. Best of luck to South Bend. Cole, take it away, man.
Thank you, Lance. How about